something in the air. From Friday nights to Saturday lights. Chapel Hill to Pasadena. It crackles down our spines. Tradition, tension, roars that remind our rivals they're not in Kansas anymore. It's electric. It shocks our nerves and ignites a place where the ground shakes. But our pride doesn't. Where our coach, scheme, playbook, and character are unlike any other. There's something in the air. It builds us up, breaks them down, and gives the stadium a pulse built on pride.
So welcome to the main menu, relatively unchanged from a year ago. Graphics are different, but overall, it is the same. So we will get in to Dynasty mode, not starting with Road to Glory. That will be coming soon, here in the next couple days. I want to mess around in Team Builder first, hope to get my actual high school in there, and start our Road to Glory from that point. But right now, the matter at hand is starting our first Dynasty of College Football 26, which again is building the Florida State Seminoles. Pre-order bonuses. If on, any user who has a pre-order bonus will be granted coach points if they are the first coach on that team. Fuck it. I didn't even know that was a thing. Might as well do it here. Play call cooldown 3. Play call limit is off. 15-minute quarters for when we do get into games. Accelerated clock is on. 15 seconds. Wear and tear. I hope, and I had heard that they messed around with wear and tear a little bit. I'm hoping that that's the case. I get that there should be some fatigue towards the end of a college football season, but I mean, you look at early on in College Football 25, we just never had a starting running back, even top 2 on the depth chart sometimes when it came to the college football playoffs, and that was all in the sim. I mean, in our rebuilds, we just didn't have them. It was very strange. So we'll leave all this on default. Unfortunately, building Florida State, building the Seminoles, a little bit of a guinea pig for how this is going to go. Also going to leave that on default. Max transfers per team. We're never going to hit that. We didn't have a lot of luck in the transfer portal in College Football 25. I mean, we would have... I don't think I ever had more than like 3 or 4 in a season. And if I did, it certainly wasn't consecutive. So we're going to be fine on that. Full control, manual league advancement, auto recruiting is off. This is what he was talking about earlier with that slider. Setting this option to on will allow the CPU to automatically progress your team's players throughout the season. Setting this option to off may incur a penalty, which is set by the manual progression XP. I'll just leave it on auto. I think that's going to be the way to go. And coach progression, that we will handle ourselves, so we know the points are going in the right spot. I will leave that on private. Please do not try and join. This is not for you. Ball hawk, heat seeker, switch assist. Turn those on right away. That way, we shouldn't have to deal with that the rest of the year. Those were things that I was very late to the party on last year. And to be honest, I really don't know if they did a lot. I didn't feel a substantial difference. But we shall see as this thing does go on. So those are our settings here. All right, so these are the Florida State Seminoles. An 85 overall team with an 86 overall offense, 84 on defense, which is not generally good enough to win a power conference this early on. And just imagine how much worse this team could be if they didn't add the transfers they did in this past cycle. But we start off as a 4-star team. We run a spread and a 3-3-5. We'll see if that's the case when it ends. Maybe I'll just leave it on default, so... Or leave it, not on default, but make our head coach like that, just so we don't really ruffle any feathers early on here at Florida State. And if this team is going to be operating on all cylinders in that playbook style, then maybe it will just work out. And maybe this will be a short rebuild, but I highly doubt it. But let's get started here with Florida State and figure out who the next head coach of the Seminoles, not Mike Norvell, is going to be.
So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's just can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where blind man see?
Could it be a little bit more ideal? Yes. Could it look a little bit more like Scott Staub? Yes. But your new head coach of the Florida State Seminoles and former, well, I guess I should say FSU alum and lead singer of Creed, Scott Staub. Let's go! Scott is here to take FSU higher. So welcome to our home in building the Seminoles dynasty. We get to take a look at Scott over there on the right side. I did my best. I really did. First thing that we need to do is take a look at just what sort of madness we start off with. So we start out with one of the transfers, of which there are many. I want to say 3 or 4 on both sides of the ball, projected to be starters. And first and foremost, it is Tommy Castellanos. I want so badly to say Castellanos, and I'm probably going to. Hopefully 2025 is the year where we can pronounce his name right. That'd be great. Former Boston College quarterback, comes to Florida State via transfer. And he is a senior. We only have him for 1 year, so not really a building piece. And really, we don't have many, I wouldn't think, at quarterback. Tanner Applewhite is an impact dev. Brock Glenn, redshirt sophomore, is impact, and so is Kevin Sperry. So quarterback is a position of concern going forward here in building the Seminoles. A player that I am maybe excited about for all the wrong reasons is Roydell Williams. And now, again, another senior. There's a pretty good chance that we don't ever play with guys like Roydell. But in the right sim, I guess you just never know. Now, I don't think we're going to win a national championship with this team in year 1. Far from it. But a good sim, and we could at least make the party, make the playoff. Now, in terms of future after Roydell Williams, we do have Cam Davis, who does have star development in his sophomore season. Adrian Webster is impact. And we also, Keziah Holmes, star development, redshirt senior. That doesn't matter too much. Gavin Sawchuk has star development, but he's 79 overall. And then Jalen Lucas, not much to talk about. We have a fullback, and it's a utility fullback. Problem is, he's a junior, so maybe not this year. Maybe we do, just to have one up and ready to go. But Ike Copeland won't be here forever, and we know we like our fullbacks. At receiver, we have Tennessee transfer Squirrel White, and that is just, for one, a great name. But he also has 95 speed and is this team's best receiver. Deuce Robinson looks okay. Gotta be honest, I was hoping for a little bit more. LaWayne McCoy, Gavin Blackwell. How about Boggs here? Javen Boggs, impact development. Not seeing a lot to build on. I mean, LaWayne McCoy might not be so bad. Star development at 75. We'll see if we can turn him into a player. Junior tight end, Randy Pittman Jr. at impact dev. And other than that, nothing to write home about. Left tackle, Gunnar Hansen. That is pretty weak, and that's also a senior. We do have redshirt sophomore Lucas Simmons, who has star development. I have not run across any elite developments yet. All right, so the future of this offensive line might not be so bad. I'm going to butcher this name. Manes Ayatete. I'm not even going to try. Never mind. Redshirt freshman star development. That's good to see. Center is a big problem, though. Rashard Miller, a freshman, that's not going to do us much good in the future. Impact dev is only going to get you so far. What about right guard? Kind of similar. Impact and normal for our freshmen. Offensive line might be a good focus here at the very start. Start in the trenches. Micah Pettis, redshirt senior. There's so many upperclassmen on this team. That ain't going to do too well for us. Jonathan Daniels is impact. And Jaden Todd, impact as well. And now we get into the part where EA has finally taken note that the positions that they used to have in the game are just not very encompassing. So now we have left edge, James Williams, redshirt junior, impact development. Nothing really to speak all that highly of over here, over on the right side. Sophomore, Amari Williams, is star dev, but we're still looking for that elite that I'm not sure this team has. Defensive tackle, we're going to be okay here for year one. We do have redshirt sophomore KJ Sampson at star. True freshman Kevin Wynn at star. Kylan Coleman can go somewhere else as far as I'm concerned. Jaden Parrish. Oh, 2 redshirt freshmen at the Sam linebacker spot. Now, the problem is they're bad, but impact and normal dev, that also won't get us very far either. Mike linebacker, Stephon Thompson, senior at impact dev. We got a junior at star, impact, not great. I do love, by the way, that I can see the dev traits without getting in to the player card. That was a big problem, really slowed things down last year in College Football 25. Elijah Herring, senior, at the will linebacker spot. Impact. Nothing really to write home about there. Cornerbacks, we got a couple of juniors in impact dev, and Jeremiah Wilson could be quite good. But we do have a couple of redshirt freshmen in Kai Bates and Charles Lester III at star development. Some guys to build on. Cornerback, not necessarily going to be a need here in year one. KJ Kirkland, redshirt sophomore, impact dev. Behind him is Earl Little II. Redshirt junior at star. That won't do you too much. Onward. Shaheem Brown is impact. One of our best players, though, at least in terms of overall, here in his senior season. If year one is to be a good one, it's going to be probably because of him. And then at kicker, are we fine for the moment and for the next couple of years in terms of having a body? Yes. With Jake Weinberg and Brandon Garner. Would we like to get something a little bit better? Yeah, probably. But 93 kick power, 80 accuracy, it's not terrible for Weinberg. And we got a good couple of years, maybe even 4 left for Weinberg. So, good stuff. Punter. I would like to bring in a new punter here in year one. Mac Chumento, which I'm probably butchering, is our punter, redshirt junior. And those are the Florida State Seminoles as we start this rebuild. So we, of course, will just touch on this really quick, because obviously there's nothing in here as Scott Staub starts his career here at Florida State as their head coach. But something, and one of the biggest things it felt like that was missing with the amount of trophies you can win in a college football dynasty, that there was no trophy room for you to actually go look at them and really keep track of that. So really excited to see that in there, and hopefully we fill this damn thing up. as this goes on. But other than that, the only thing really left for us to do before we start our first season simulation is to set up our recruiting board and begin scouting prospects. Now, I would imagine we're going to listen to Reese Davis talk for a second. All right, so now that Reese Davis is done yapping, we will head over to the prospect list. Now, we have 1,000 hours to start out with, which is great. Oh, look at that team needs up there. That is so big. Like, was it that much to ask, I guess, that you just go through and, you know, make something, figure out what you need on your own? Yeah. But not really. It wasn't that much to ask, but there's no reason to do that. To have it simplified up there, right in front of you, that is very key. All right, so early on here in College Football 26, it is a bit of a different strategy from what I did towards the end of College Football 25, where I used to load my board up with probably no more than... I like to shoot between 15 and 20 targets right off the rip. Now, granted, as a 4-star Power 5 school, we should get a good chunk of hours right off the bat. So, we're going to be able to do a good bit here. Unless things have changed, this is when we need to be scouting guys and taking a look at what they are and dropping them if they are something that just does not fit our needs. So we're going to scout all that, and then we will meet you, at least the YouTube crowd, on the other side. So this is more or less the real Florida State schedule for this year. Thomas Castellanos is just poking the bear here with Alabama, which means we're going to get blasted. By the way, Alabama 9th to start the year. I mean, they brought in a whole bunch of new guys, so it is what it is. But, so we probably start out with an L. We get an FCS team, and I guess there's new FCS teams. That logo is new to me. Week 3 bye. Not great, but we don't have a terribly late second bye. Season's really split up into about 2 separate halves here, so honestly, it's probably preferable. And now this is something I discovered earlier today talking with Austin, is that we do have Kent State here in week 4, a team that went winless last year. Not like Florida State did much better, but a 2-10 ACC school is way different than a 0-12 MAC school. So there's that. Then we start ACC play. Virginia, number 13 Miami in a rivalry game. Pittsburgh, Stanford, still strange to me. I love Stanford in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The Week 9 bye, then Wake Forest. Early indications are, I mean, 4 ranked teams, you probably chalk those up as L's. Maybe we stun somebody. But I feel like all these other games, we're going to have a chance in them. Number 7, Clemson, that could be tough. Virginia Tech, NC State. Number 11, Florida. In non-conference play, but a rivalry game to end the year. Do we have 4? 4 non-conference? Yes, we do. Okay. So we've finally reached, in Lord knows how long, probably about an hour setup, the first week of the season, and it is number 9, Alabama. Thomas Castellanos has decided to poke the bear that is the Crimson Tide and say that Nick Saban can't save Alabama from what he's going to do to them. There is nothing to do in recruiting this week. All those moves that we made last week are still standing. Nobody's locked us out yet. So let's see if Castellanos, back to saying his name the proper way, I suppose. See if we can back up the talk, or see if A.J. McCarron was right all along. Holy shit! What? Deuce Robinson! Week 1 against the Crimson Tide. 11 catches. 216 yards. And 3 touchdowns. Huh? Holy... Alright. I'm gonna say it right now. Game's glitched. There's no fucking chance. No way we just did that to Alabama. 62-31. We just did that to Alabama. What are we going to do to FCS Midwest? So after what we did to Alabama, a 47-10 win over FCS Midwest doesn't feel real. Thought we might drop 100 on them. And I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that. We know how that's worked for Ryan Day. But we are 2-0 heading into our Week 3 bye. We have a team that has lost at the very least 14 straight. I can't say I remember the history of Kent State from 2 years ago. But an 0-12 team a year ago has dropped their first 2. And now the Seminoles will have them at home to try and go 3-0. We do indeed have our first commit of College Football 26 and building the Seminoles. Zaire Slater. It's not a crazy commit, 3-star left guard, but it's somebody, and it's at a position, really a whole position group that we need ever so badly. So Zaire Slater out of Clearwater, Florida, welcome to Florida State. Allowed a whole hell of a lot more points to Kent State than I would have liked, 41-29, but we dropped Kent State to 0-4. The Seminoles are 3-0 as ACC play begins. But we have a test here on the road at Virginia, who started the year 3-1, and then number 3 Miami is lurking. That is a home game, but what does that even mean? We have our second commit here building the Seminoles. Dominique Keaton, 3-star will linebacker. Melbourne, Florida. I thought we signed an international player there for a second. But, sweet. Another commit. Ooh, we have another one. Immediately after, in our first 4-star, another Mike Lewis Westbrook out of Orlando. The Seminoles have yet to get respect, even after beating Alabama. But this appears to be a very bad Alabama team, and that makes zero sense because, I mean, game came out today. The Alabama Crimson Tide are the top-ranked team overall in this game. We blew them out by 31. Took care of business everywhere else. We haven't had a close game yet. And yet we remain unranked, but that will not remain true if we can beat the number 3 team in the country, Miami, at home here in Week 6. Well, if this is going to be the shortest rebuild of all time, the Florida State Seminoles have to win this home game against Miami. I don't know how much I like our chances, but we already beat one top 10 team this year. Got it at home, rivalry game. See how this goes. I was going to say all we were looking for is that we didn't get blown out. 34-9 is... or 34-19 rather, is certainly close to a blowout. Winning team in Pittsburgh, due up next on the schedule. It is getting scary when it comes to McCall, but there is still a sliver of a chance. I don't know how good of a chance, but one nonetheless. We have been trying to sway him. For the moment, it's working. To the best of its ability, I really don't know. Herzlich to Florida. You know, like I said, we're going to miss out on some of these guys. Tight battle for Tremaine Kiernan, 4-star gem of a wide receiver. That one is a battle I think we're going to win, although South Carolina is very close. I think they're very close because of a visit they had. Guys on the board, we're still doing everything that we can, possibly do, so I'm going to leave it, honestly, right now as it is. We don't need a massive class. Commitment, 4-star wide receiver, Ciante Stoner. Well, we were after 2 4-star receivers, so hopefully some good news to follow. But, good news to start. There we go, the devil himself. 3-star punter Kirk McChristopher out of Hollywood, Florida, has committed to the Florida State Seminoles. That is it, and there it is. The bad news has dropped. Number 1 player in the country goes to our in-state rival. Oh, and even worse, we lost. 4-0 start, now we're 4-2. It is by no means the offensive wins that we wanted in this first season. But we've got a pair of 4-star wide receivers. Tremaine Kiernan has committed to Florida State, as we expected him to do. Good stuff. Who else we got? 4-star safety Ron Lyles. That is also good. However, we get locked out on Ingold, and Corral. 10-point win over Stanford after a 10-point loss to the Pitt Panthers. 5-2. This team's going to have to do something special to finish the season in playoff contention. And it would probably take beating Clemson and maybe even beating Florida. I mean, we haven't even been considered, I don't really think, in the top 25 right now. So, I don't know. Our team has also dropped it overall. 4-star running back Cameron Bushman. Say out of state. Almost all the way across the country. Coming to the Florida State Seminoles. And not only good news in recruiting. We have won. We are 6-2. And not only that. For the first time, and I can't believe I'm saying this in year one, the Florida State Seminoles are inside the top 25. All for this to be the Clemson week. Number 9 Clemson, fresh off a loss. Oh, boy. A win, however, it's a daunting task. A win in this spot, even with the record, even with the 2 losses, in conference no less, could vault us in to playoff contention. Well, a commit's a good sign. It's the backup plan at quarterback, Ernest Lindsey, but we at least have something to try and build forward in the future. Now let's go see how bad we lost to Clemson. I don't even know if we lost yet. Well, it was nice being in the top 25 while it lasted for all of 1 minute. 38-16 loss to Clemson. 3 games left to go. Virginia Tech, NC State, and all of a sudden unranked Florida. They were like top 10 last time we were in this screen. Well, make it 2 games left. What about our closer games of the year? Outside of the Wake Forest game. Probably our closest scoreline of the season. A 38-36 win over Virginia Tech for Florida State's 7th win of the year. NC State having an okay season. And now Florida, who's dropped to 5-5. I don't know if they suffered an injury. I don't know what's going on there. But Florida is free-falling. All of a sudden, we're going to be favorites in that game. Just a little check-in on recruiting. Trailing on Jermaine Younger, but leading on Heaney, leading on Knott, should get a commit from him soon. Leading on Cantrell, he really should commit soon. And leading on Gutierrez. So late additions. Really a good thing. Gonna round out this class just a little bit more. And then we're still gonna have transfers. Hopefully we're opened up to a good chunk of decent players to bring in. And just hope for the best from here on out. But, I mean, there's a good chunk of 4-stars here. I know we missed out on all the 5s, but overall, I'm happy. This is way better than the first year with CMU or Michigan State ever went. Tight end was not really a position of need, but you add bodies where you can. Byron Cantrell, in-state guy, added on at tight end. So welcome back to the top 25 for Florida State here in year 1. 22nd in the country as the Seminoles improve to 8-3. One final game in the regular season, that's against the Florida Gators, in-state rivalry. And now they were in free fall. They did win their last game to become bowl eligible, and they do have the home field advantage as that game will be played from Gainesville. So we add on Michael Knott at center. Why not? Another commit, David Gutierrez. 3 stars are on board. We did lose Younger to Florida, but we expected that. And what was the results? Oh, we could not take down the Gators. Unfortunately, with a pretty bad loss to the Gators there to end the season, We do finish with a better record than our in-state rival, but of course it all comes down to beating them, and we will have to do that as this dynasty goes along. But if you would have told me I would have been playing a bowl game with Florida State in year one, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And, you know, one or two results go a different way, you'd be borderline. Now, we didn't get a lot of respect throughout the year. We were only ranked twice, and we lost immediately after we were ranked both times. But overall, nothing to be too concerned about, and especially given that, you know, we expected a long road to go. And I think we had an okay class this year. Still a chance to make it better when the portal does come along. But let's go figure out who we're playing in our first ever game with Florida State when we get to the bowl season. So we get to our first batch of awards, and I had heard that this was still going to be a thing. Cade Klubnik is yet again your Heisman Trophy winner. He probably will win the Heisman in year one of just about every dynasty that we do. Either that or Drew Aller. You know, I've always wanted to do it. We're going to get our asses handed to us, most likely by Oregon. But in a season where we expected nothing, we get it all. We're heading to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and Scott Stopp is gonna get mayonnaise poured over his head if we win. Let's go. I didn't play in this game all of college football 25 ever.